Now, gamers, this is a drop that I'm locked in on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They dropped my girl Cypher. Now, as you may know, I'm a big fan of Fellas from Honkai Impact Third and Cat Girls, as you could probably tell. Talked about Cypher a lot, and the main thing we care about, right, is this little tag right here, Quantum Nihility. Now, my hopes are in the gutter with Cypher. I've already seen the info. Looks god awful. That being said, Cypher being a quantum nihility brings a lot of questions to the table. What is her role going to be? And is she actually going to be worth your summons, right? The main thing is nihilities when a post Acheron world are in a really weird state, as they either have to they're either dot or they're Acheron bot. Otherwise, they suck. And the reason for this is that we already have really strong debuffers that already provide massive damage increases via the likes of Pella and Jiao Cho, right? They're already really good in that. And so if we take into context Acheron specifically, like I said, you're either dot or you are an Acheron bot. And well, the fact that she's quantum basically means she's not dot. Now I know people are gonna be like hoping for quantum dot. Like, listen, I don't think Helya's gonna do that whatsoever, especially now with the fact that they're introducing memo sprites. I mean, they could do quantum dot, but that just seems stupid. To be honest with you, and also quantum's got its whole shtick with break, anyways. So like, again, I understand wanting that. I don't think it's going to happen because they haven't already made it in the game, right? Um, I don't want to dwell on Quantum Dot. I just think the idea is stupid that they're not going to do it. But furthermore, their other option is being an Acheron bot. Now, what does that entail? That entails, well, obviously high frequency debuffs as well as strong debuffs, right? Because, again, in terms of debuffers, we realistically don't have too many actual debuffers. And I say like actual debuffers because half the nihility characters are, well, dot characters are, in the case of Fugue, the rare exception that she is a break character, right? But she also still has potent debuffs, right? Now the main thing is what debuffs are Cypher going to provide. Probably defense down, but that really could be anything. Ideally, it is defense down, right? Because we need somebody to dethrone Pella and her omnipresence for what is nihility. But you've got Akron who's a crit DPS, and then you have a box one who's dot. Fugue, who is still a debuffer, but she's mainly break. Jiao Cho, who is primarily debuffer, Silverwolf's debuffer, Kafka's dot, Welt, who's also a debuffer, but then can do crit damage, Gnyphon's dot, Lucas dot, Sampo's dot, Pella's another debuffer, right? And so what we really need, at least for Acheron's team specifically, is a couple things. Now I am going to do a more in-depth video on this, right? I know I mentioned this for literally 7 months. It will come out at some point, okay? I'm sticking to my word. It's going to come out. I just can't say when because, life. But I can say right now, for Acheron's best team and her ideal team, what she needs is she needs another strong debuffer that can also do sub DPS, right? Because unfortunately, they took away Jiao Cho's potential to do any damage, which I don't know why it wouldn't have been OP. But what we need for the team is to replace Pella, because right now her best team, like if we're saying like quote unquote free to play, like her best team E0 is going to be Acheron, Jiao Cho, Pella plus flex slot, right? Um, And now that's really, that's good, but we obviously want something to replace Pella, because Pella, while she can be kind of built for damage, she's primarily used to apply debuffs for Acheron, and her debuffs don't have full uptime like Jiao Cho's, right? And so in an ideal world, we're achieving multiple things. We're achieving high frequency attacks with like debuffing follow-ups or something, which would be ideal, right? That trigger off of whatever condition. I would hope it's just attacking the enemy with a, target, kind of like Kafka's, right? So we got high frequency debuffing follow-ups, right? We got strong debuffs that are like, I'm talking 60% defense down, and you're like, that's a little high. It's actually not. So Pella right now with her ultimate can already hit 42 defense down at talent level 12, right? This is when you have her max dupes. But then additionally, if you include the light cone, that's going to be another plus 16. So you're able to get up to 58, sorry, excuse me, 58 defense down, which is already impressive. And so I'm talking baseline 60% defense down. And you'd be like, oh, well, with light cone, that's 76. Yes, do not care. Okay. In terms of how that actually affects in terms of debuffing, right, and how potent the actual debuffs are, I'm actually going to pull it up for you in case you guys are at all confused why I'm asking for this, because I do actually think it's fair and balanced, right? Um, it's not really power creeping anything because we don't have anything like that. I mean, I guess power creeping Pella. I shouldn't say it's not really power creeping because it is power creeping Pella, but you guys see what I'm saying. Like, it's something new that we need because we need actual debuffers, right? Our only like actual debuffer is realistically Jiao Cho, right? The other people they suck at doing their job at debuffing, right? So we take a look here, right? Um, Pella, with her 40% defense down, is going to be an increase of 28% over your base damage dealt to the actual target, right? And then we can increase this up to, again, 60, which is going to be a 47% increase over base, and it's still not going to beat Jiao Cho. So even baseline 60 is, in my opinion, good enough of a damage increase and where it should be, right? So just in case you want to understand like how much damage is actually increasing, use Black Swan's like 20% defense down is a 16%, or sorry, 6% increase over your base damage dealt. And then Jiao To's doing a raw 50 because he's doing 50% vulnerability. Pella, or sorry, not Pella, Silverwolf, assuming you have all of her stuff up, is actually slightly higher, but that's basically impossible to be consistent on. And then, so on and so on, right? So yeah, baseline 60 is totally fine and it's totally balanced to have. And if we include the light cone, it's going to go to 76. And that's, again, the free-to-play light cone is going to be a 68 increase, making it actually stronger than Jiao Cho, right? And that extra 16, you can already see, is a very powerful bonus on her. And so I think that is definitely something that we should see. A baseline 60, it's going to warrant actually using the character, right? That's what, at the end of the day, that's what we can all ask for, right? A reason to actually use the character. Baseline 60% defense down is a really good reason to use this character flat out, right? And so that's going to be one of the debuffs goals that I want to achieve with this character. Hopefully she does that. Baseline 60% defense down. Light cone can boost that up a little bit further, right? Up in 70 or so on, right? Now, the one character should not be hitting 100 because that's going to be 115% damage increase, right? Really high just for the one character. So obviously not getting near 100, right? But we should be able to see it like somewhere around the 60% mark, right? Ideally is what she's going to be. And so we're ideally have debuffing follow-ups around 60% defense down baseline. And then light can add on top of that. And we want her to be fast, right? So that's it. That's kind of debuff frequency, but debuff frequency, strong debuffs, right? Speed as well as sub DPS, right? She needs a sub DPS because otherwise I don't know what the hell this character is doing. And like I know this sounds like really good in the context of Acheron, and that is what I'm saying, but like what else would a Nihility character do in this day and age, right? We don't need these other teams like Aglia, Hurt, or whatever. They don't need another team slot. They already have a full premium team, right? Acheron's the only DPS at all relevant in the meta who doesn't have in fact, she's like one of the only DPS who doesn't have a full roster of 5-star characters to even run for, right? You look at her list, you're basically running Pella or like Silverwolf, who just kind of sucks, right? And so again, Acheron being the only like limited DPS that's like in the meta discussion that doesn't have a full premium team, she's gonna need this kind of stuff. And plus, all I'm saying here is the sub DPS, the strong debuffs, the speed, it's gonna work across the game, right? And again, her having a follow-up, if she does, is going to be great for the follow-up team as well. It's going to give you another alternative option, right? It's not going to necessarily beat Topaz because Topaz has really high frequency, and so for Phase Shout, that's really good. But it's going to give a reason to run this character, right? And so there's so many things that they can do with this potential kit. But the key thing is at least that hopefully it also works with Acheron, right? Because making it not work with Acheron, you get into this gray area of like, okay, why the fuck would I use this character, right? It's like she's not doing enough of this, right? And while she's trying to do this. And so while it's not ideal, right? It's basically what we can ask out of this character. Because again, it's an Nihility character. It can be anything, right? They kind of really, just throw anything at this path. It's like, oh, Lord Nihility, boom, do whatever. You're a hunt character, or you're a break character, or something like that. Like they just kind of do whatever, right? And so I can really only speculate on what she would possibly do, and hopefully it is going to be something along the lines of what I mentioned here, right? And yes, is it tailored towards Acheron? Yes, but it's also going to work inside of other teams, right? And that's what I'm hoping for obviously the longevity of this character and to boost Acheron just a bit more, right? And of course, just so we're clear for anybody who's wondering about Acheron, Jiao Cho's never getting replaced. Stop the cope, okay? I want to make that clear. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it for this video. I'm excited about the character. I do like her design. I think she looks pretty good. I was a bit iffy on her because they didn't show her full design, but I do actually like this art here, right? It shows off the character pretty well. I know my face is covering it, but you got her, little excited face here of her stealing all the treasure, right? She's, yoinking it. And yeah, I do kind of like the design. And just based off this, I'm not super inclined to summon. Now, my main reason to summon is because it's like Phallus, right? And I do like Phallus. And so I kind of want this kid's character. But if this character isn't doing anything like what I said, right? What is the point of her? Legitimately. If she's not doing anything what I said, I don't see a reason to pull her. Like flat out, I'll be real. Because we already have so many other strong characters, right? And while I do like this character, if she's not doing what I was talking about, I don't see any reason to get this character. I'll be real, right? All these other teams already have like their setups, right? Heisting's around the corner, who's probably going to be another OP healer, right? Especially for those caster ice mains, right? So, yeah, like there's a lot going on here, a lot of speculation, and a lot of potential like things that are good or negative about her kit, CIPHER specifically. Right now, from what I know, it all looks like fat L's. So yeah, we'll see whenever she comes out, right? We get more info and so on, but yeah, I don't know. Just let me know what you guys think, if you like this character, right? Or if you don't like this character, whatever it may be, right? Like, subscribe, check me out on Twitch, and I'll see y'all on the next one.